Hello, everyone. Warm welcome. This is a special event today titled Test Your Innate Telepathic and Psychic Skills. Discover the Psychic Mediumship Connection. My name is Natalia, and I am your host here at the Shift Network. I'm really honored to be hosting today's program, bringing you Jean Else, Chief Executive and Director of the Mavis Pittilla-Authorized Teacher Training Program, and Karen G., spiritual medium and one of our mentorship circle teachers. And we are all very excited to be able to announce a year-long program with Jean, as well as spiritual medium and author Suzanne Eastman, and several other mentorship circle teachers that we're going to be sharing about later in this event. We have a full hour today, and I'd like to dive right in. At the end of our time together, we're going to be sharing how you can make a bigger commitment to your own transformation in this upcoming Evidential Mediumship Academy. Essentials training, communicating with the other side with integrity, heart, and accuracy. We will also leave some time at the end for your questions. Before we get into our workshop today, I want to introduce Jean. Jean Else received a world-class education in mediumship from her wife of 24 years, world-renowned UK medium Mavis Pittilla. Having been a school teacher all her life, Jean was able to transfer her organizational and educational skills to work with Mavis to develop courses and programs that helped educate aspiring mediums. Mavis and Jean believe that mediums should be trained fully, just like any other profession that deals with people's minds, such as psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists, and counselors. And they emphasize that becoming an authentic medium required time, commitment, and in-depth study, and it could not be achieved overnight. After Mavis's death in 2022, Jean was determined to take Mavis's legacy forward and ensure her remarkable knowledge and experience will continue to inspire future generations. She believes that excellent mediumship heals two worlds, and that, as Mavis always said, love like life can never die. Today, you'll also hear from Karen G., who is an accomplished medium trained by Mavis and Jean over many years. And with a gift for connecting the living with those who live in spirit, she believes that death ends a life, but not a relationship. Karen deepened her understanding of the spiritual elements and craft of mediumship during numerous mentorships with Mavis and Jean, and attended the prestigious Arthur Findlay College in the UK. Jean and Karen will be joining us for questions after our workshop completes. But for now, it is my pleasure to get our workshop started for today. So sit back and enjoy, and we'll come back together with some more information for you after this.
Hi, my name is Jean, and I'm thrilled to be a part of the Ship's Evidential Mediumship Academy. And that's all based on the work of the world-renowned British medium, Mavis Pittilla. Some of you may already have heard about Mavis, and some of you may not. So let me provide you with some information about her. Mavis was my wife, and sadly she died 2 years ago. But I'm so proud to keep her legacy alive, along with my team of Mavis Pittilla-Authorized teachers. Mavis was considered to be one of the best mediums in the world. She was a wonderful speaker, demonstrator, and more importantly, teacher. She's taught many of the well-known mediums around today, including the lovely Suzanne Eastman, who many of you already know. She was a pioneer in so many aspects of mediumship. She was one of the first to introduce mentorships over 14 years ago, and many followed her pattern. She also led the field with work online for many, many years, long before it became the norm. She was also a former senior tutor at the world-famous Arthur Findlay College in the UK, and for a number of years, she led in the field of the development of mediums from across the world. She was, in fact, the whole package. She was loved for her down-to-earth approach and her very, very wise words. Today, myself and my friend and colleague, Karen Gillis, who's one of our more experienced Pittilla-Authorized teachers and a wonderful person as well, will present to you a taster workshop. We'll be sharing some of the insights into what are the natural aspects of your soul, and will help you understand the different types of communication. And today it will be communication with people on the earth, not communication with the spirit world today, but you will find how important this is as a foundation for your link with the spirit world. Mavis always said understanding yourself was essential to provide a firm foundation to help your mediumship. And as one of her favourite phrases was, come on a journey with us and enjoy. I invite you now to come on a journey with Karen and I and enjoy. Karen.
Thank you, Jean. Hi, I'm Karen, and it's my pleasure to be with all of you here today. And as Jean said, we're delighted to share some insights with you, and we're going to get you working. Our program will always be a combination of theory and practice. And that was something that was very close to Mavis's heart because she was passionate about having the theory behind everything that you put into practice. So today, in this workshop, we're going to be exploring you and the power that lies within you and the power that is you. So what do I mean by that? We're going to explore your intuition, and then we'll work on telepathy, and we will explore you as the psychic. And finally, in this workshop, we will discuss the difference between working psychically and mediumistically. There is a huge difference, as the psychic works with the incarnate, or those people who are in the living, while the medium works with the discarnate souls, the people who have died. Mavis has always stressed the importance of knowing yourself and understanding yourself first. And as Jean already said, working on these aspects of self provides a firm foundation for when you start to work with the spirit world.
Wonderful, Karen. It's going to be such a good workshop, this. And you'll also have the added delight of listening to a contemplation that Mavis recorded a long time ago, which is titled The Spirit Within. The words of this contemplation were given to her by one of her guides in the spirit world, Jane, who was a novice nun. At that stage of Mavis's development, because it was very early in her development, she firmly believed that the spirit world did everything. She thought that she just turned up and they were there. And Jane wanted her to know just how much a part she played in it. Mavis saw the spirit world objectively, so it was just like seeing me or seeing you, seeing Karen, and she believed she'd no part to play in it. But Jane gently guided her to understand that she was a partner in this relationship. And so she gave her these wonderful words of the spirit within. And I just know that you'll actually love them. It's an old recording. It must be 40 years plus of age, and it's still my very favourite one. And I know everybody that listens to it feels the same. But before that, I'm going to ask Karen to talk about some of the different ways we can communicate. So over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is intuition. So let's just look at the definition of what intuition is. Intuition is a natural ability or power that makes it possible to know something without any proof or evidence. It's a feeling that guides a person to act in a certain way without fully understanding why. I'm sure every one of you in this workshop today recognizes that you have had a sixth sense about something, that gut feeling that you know when something just doesn't feel right. Maybe that you had an intuitive feeling, and an example of that would be thinking of someone and then bumping into them while you were shopping, or perhaps getting a phone call from them. That is your intuition. Or have you walked into a room and instantly had a bad feeling? You intuitively knew that the atmosphere just wasn't right, or you just couldn't blend with a certain person. Or equally, you may have walked into a room and met the love of your life and knew right then and there you were going to marry them. We've all had these experiences. Also, you may know outcomes of events. Maybe if people were going to pass or fail a test, maybe health results or relationships. Some people think that people in the spirit world give them this information, that the spirit world gives them these feelings, but actually that's not correct. It's actually a natural aspect of who you are. This is your intuition. Now let's take it a stage further. As you can see on the screen right now, we're going to talk about telepathy and working with your telepathy. So what is telepathy? Let's just look at the definition. Telepathy is the transmission of information from one person's mind to another without using any human sensory channels or physical interaction. Really, it's mind-to-mind communication. And once again, this is about you. The spirit world is not involved. So for this next exercise, we've sent the spirit world away. The spirit world will not be involved or giving you any information. We're going to work with your telepathy so that you can understand the power of thought. Okay, so now you can see on the slide, there are 5 envelopes. In each envelope, there's a picture. All these pictures will be linked to the same event. It is an event that I used to go to as a child. And what I'd like you to do in a few minutes is tune into my mind. What are my thoughts? What are my feelings? What are my visions? I'll be focusing on the event and I'll be projecting that to you. What I want you to do is tune into my thoughts. And as you do, can you tell if I'm happy? Am I sad? Is it energetic feeling or is it passive? Do you see colors? Do you see a lot of activity? Is it serene? Am I by myself or am I with a lot of people? What is happening? Now remember, there's a picture linked to the same event in every envelope. They're not random pictures, but your thoughts might seem random. You might think you're going crazy. You might think it's your imagination, but that's okay. Because remember, it's not your story. It's not your memory. It's me, my thoughts, my visions, and my feelings that I'm going to be projecting to you. So I'll give you a few minutes and I want you to concentrate on me. What am I projecting to you? And I truly want you to trust yourself. I want you to trust that if you see a color, write it down. If you see an object, write it down. Maybe it's memories, write those down too. Some people like to memorize their answers, but we would prefer you write them down so we can go over them when we're done. So now just take a few moments and I want you to focus your attention on me. What thoughts, what feelings, and what visions am I projecting to you now? Remember, this is an event that I went to as a child. Take a few moments now. Excellent. Okay, you guys can finish writing now. And I hope you trusted everything that you got. So now let's move on to envelope number 1. There we see a colorful tent. So as you can see, it's an outdoor trip that I went to. So if you got outdoors or a covering or vibrant colors of any kind, then you know you did fantastic. Let's look at envelope number 2. There you can see a ringmaster. So if you got circus or anything energetic, lively, fun, then that's fantastic too. If you got top hat or boots or a powerful feeling, then that's great. Let's move on to envelope number 3 now. And there we'll see a lady on the trapeze. Now, if you picked up my excitement, then that would be right too, because I loved the people who flew on the trapeze. I loved their speed, their flexibility, how they could balance with ease, and I loved their colorful, sparkly outfits. So anything like that would be correct. Now let's go on to envelope number 4, and there you'll see an elephant. Now, if you picked up animals or happiness, those feelings also would be correct. I loved seeing the animals at the circus. It was all anyone could do to keep me in my seat from running up and petting them. Now let's go on to envelope number 5. And there you'll see the clown. Now, if you picked up trepidation or hesitancy or fear, this would be correct as well. I always viewed clowns with a little side eye. I never quite liked or trusted them. Did you see who I went with? Did I go with family? That would be correct, because my uncle took me every year. Did you pick up on my excitement? What about my emotions? Did you pick up on the crowds? How did you do? Regardless, I want you to give yourself a big thumbs up on a job well done. It doesn't matter what level that you're doing these exercises. It's well worth doing them quite regularly.
Well, thanks, Karen. It's really interesting, isn't it? And it's quite exciting, actually, because you think you're guessing, but in actual fact, you're not. You're tuning in. And I know some of you will have done very, very well with that. Well worth the practice, just tuning into things like that. So I'm going to ask Karen now to move on to the next stage. She's talked about the intuition. She's just covered telepathy. And the next stage that Karen's going to talk about is the psychic. Karen.
Thank you again, Jean. So as we can see there, the word psychic comes from the Greek word psyche, which means of soul. The psychic uses their soul to connect to another incarnate soul, that is someone in the living, and are able to read the story of their life. So let's just recap a moment. We've worked with your intuition, a part of you, part of yourself. We've also worked with your telepathy, mind-to-mind communication. And now we're moving on to the psychic. So remember, we've sent the spirit world away. They're not involved here. It's important that you understand the foundations of how you work and who you are. So when you work psychically, you're not using your intuition. You're not reading someone's mind. You're connecting and reading to the past of someone. You're connecting them soul to soul. So when we work with the psychic, we're using the power of the soul to blend and read another living soul, another living person, as opposed to just using your mind. So what is the soul? We'll get into this more in depth during our program, but the soul is that eternal part of you that survives physical death. When we work psychically, we use the faculties that lie within the soul. Mavis always called these faculties, but you may know them as the clairs: clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance. And as I said, we'll go more in detail into these when we go into the program. But when we work psychically, what we do is we build our power. We have to use our soul power to connect to another living soul. Within someone's soul is their entire history, from pre-birth up until now. So a good psychic can read this information. They can read your past. They can pick up on your family, your school, your environments, heartaches, illnesses, everything that's happened in your life. Mavis truly believed that if you connect accurately to the past of someone, then you can trust your knowledge of their current situations and trust the future potential that you may pick up. So when we work psychically, we're not working with the spirit world. The spirit world aren't telling you anything because it's your soul that's doing the work. Your soul connecting with another human soul. We have moral and ethical responsibilities when we work psychically. We don't diagnose illnesses. We don't predict health, death, or unfavorable news. We're not acting in the role of a counselor or a psychologist. So we have to be mindful of the information, not only that we receive, but the information that we deliver. Mavis said every medium is a psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. And a good medium, you have to be a good psychic. You have to understand you and your power. So these three exercises, these three aspects of you, intuition, telepathy, and the psychic, are so important. You have to understand you and how you work. Now we have another exercise for you.
Karen, thank you. Wonderful. So it's my turn to do the exercise now, and we're moving on to a psychic exercise. And we're going to look at a photograph. And I want you to tune into that picture using the power that Karen has just talked about. And again, we'll talk about power in a lot more detail in the program. But for the purpose of this exercise, just do it whatever way you can. You're not mind reading in this exercise. You're going to blend with the woman and the child in the picture. And again, we'll talk about blending more. I'm sorry we keep saying we'll talk about it more in the program, but this is just a brief exercise to show you the kind of ways that we work. Whatever way you feel you can tune in to the lady and the child in the picture, try and do that. Don't just look at it and let whatever comes to your mind first come out of your mouth or down on paper. Really try and tune into them. How do you feel about them? What do they make you sense, see, or understand? Now, obviously, it is a woman and a child in the photograph, and you can get a lot of information from this, and it's a really important psychic exercise. Obviously, it's much better if you blend in with real people, but we often in the early stages use photographs as a good practice. So you'll be given a full range of information once you really build the power and blend in with the picture. You'll be able to talk about their personalities, whether they're shy, whether they're outgoing, whether they're aggressive, whether they're calm. What's the family situation like? What's their relationship? Is the woman married? Is she single, or is she a widow? Has she got her own children? What do you feel is the, if you like, emotional link between the woman and the child? What kind of hobbies might the woman have? What interests? What special memories has she got? Have they got together? There's such a range of information you can get. All we're asking you to do, again, is write down what you get. And as I say, you'll see it, you'll feel it, or it might just drop in as a thought. So that's using what Mavis described as the faculties, what Karen described as the clairs. So if you're seeing, that's the clairvoyance. If you're feeling, that's the clairsentience. And if a thought just drops in, that's the claircognizance. And all clair means is clear. So it's the clear knowing, the clear feeling, the clear seeing. And that's really important to understand, because you'll all have experienced those versions of receiving information in some form or another. So write down what you receive, look at the people. They've a life story, particularly, obviously, the older lady has a life story to tell. You know, the younger one, not so much at this stage, but there might be a history between the two. It might have just been a chance meeting. See what you can pick up. Now, I'm going to leave you for 2 or 3 minutes. I'll give you a little bit longer here, because I really want you to really blend with the picture, build your power, blend with the picture, and just see what you get. And I'm sure you'll surprise yourselves. So 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll be back to you. Okay, well, I'll call you to time now. And it's a difficult one, this one, when I'm not seeing you, because some of you will want a bit more time and be demanding that. And some of you will have given up a little while ago and will have been waiting for the time to be up. But the major thing is, how did you do? And I want you to really, again, like Karen said, pat yourself on the back with the telepathy. I want you to pat yourself on the back here because, you know, you will have picked up something. Let me give you some information about the two wonderful people in the photograph. They are grandmother and granddaughter. The grandmother's name is Joan and the grandchild is Courtney. Joan happens to be my sister-in-law and Courtney is my niece's eldest child. And that photograph was taken a long time ago because Courtney's now 24 years old. So you can tell how old the picture is. And really, for the purpose of this kind of exercise, that doesn't matter. I really probably shouldn't have revealed the relationship because on some occasion we might ask you, are the people alive or are they in the spirit world? We weren't asking you that today, so it doesn't matter. I won't give you John's age because that would be rude and I'm too kind to her. But she's 5 more grandchildren besides Courtney. So Courtney isn't her only one. Her family is her life. She lives for them. She loves them. Her life revolves around her family. So if you picked up the relationship of the two of them, that would be wonderful. If you picked up, you know, a family was important, that would be wonderful. Joan's got a very calm and gentle personality, but underneath it, she's also very strong and determined, and you might have sensed some of that. What does she like? She loves cooking, which most family-orientated people do, but actually it's not just run-of-the-mill cooking. She likes creating new recipes, and so that's something that she really enjoys as a hobby. She also likes reading and she likes a variety of novels, but she also loves biographies. She's a keen biography reader. She also likes films and especially the action thrillers. She also likes sport. She's a keen rugby enthusiast, which is the European equivalent of American football, but without the headgear and all the padding, because we're a bit more robust and strong over here in Europe. She loves traveling, and for a period of time, she lived abroad in Malta, which was actually where I was born, and my brother went out to Malta. So they adopted that as a real family holiday destination, and they went to live there for 2 or 3 years. And again, you know, the ordinary woman with the family may not have done some of those things. She's not been hugely adventurous, but she has lived the life that she's chosen to live with her family. There's a whole range of things that we could talk about over the years, but obviously in this workshop, we can't do that. Again, I'm sorry to do this, but when we go into the program proper, we'll be able to elaborate and discuss these things in more detail and receive your information and talk to you about it. And we'll be able to talk to you about how you can extend some of the information. Because you can always pick up what's going on in their life now, whether these two are still close together, what's the relationship like now. And there's a lot going on in my sister-in-law's life now. Actually, it's a period of time that's been quite challenging for her. But if we go back to the relationship of the two, well, I can tell you they're very close still, and they actually live close to one another. They have a fantastic relationship. And though Courtney is now 24, she still likes going around to grandma and granddad's and spending time with them. She's a very glamorous 24-year-old now who likes going dancing and clubbing and all the other things that 24-year-olds like doing. But her personality is actually quite generally quiet and reserved, which doesn't fit in with the dancey scene, but she manages to have the balance of the two. She works in an architect's firm as an office manager, so she's actually gone for a job that requires good communication. So just because she's reserved doesn't mean she doesn't communicate well. So it's an interesting choice of career. She loves to travel like grandma, and she's also interested in sport, but she's more interested in Formula One racing. I can't understand why. so boring for me, and football, which I do love. So those are her main sports.
All right, wonderful. I hope you all enjoyed that, got to practice some of your skills and got some things right in there. And for now, it would be my absolute pleasure to invite Jean and Karen on the mic. Hi, Jean. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, everyone. That shocked me the end because you were going to listen to a lovely contemplation of Mavis's. So I think we're just short of time, but you will get the chance if you join us to listen to it because it's absolutely fantastic. You'll get the chance to just see and hear everything about Mavis. But I don't know how you did in that because it was incredibly fast. It was like a whirlwind going through the telepathy when Karen said, you know, I'll just leave you to tune into me. And then, oh, you've done all the answers. We should have done it live. We'll do it live next time, I think. But anyway, lovely that you're on. I hope you get the sense of what we're doing. One of the things that's so important with Mavis is that people really understand the depth and the incredible, if you like, range of information that's needed in order to really understand mediumship. And I'm sure we've got people on here that are already practicing mediumship. I know we'll have some absolute beginners that are just interested. I know we'll have people that will have read a lot and done various things. So we'll have a whole mixture. So this workshop was just really a taster. And it would be interesting to know what you got. But these are the kind of things that we might explore within the workshop. It will all depend, within the program. It will all depend upon your level, because obviously you'll be with a group of people at your level. The one thing Mavis would always emphasize is that you are all unique. So it's not to compare yourself with others. If your soul is calling you on this journey now to explore not only yourself, which was covered today through the telepathy, the intuition, and the psyche, but to explore the link with the people in the spirit world. And Mavis would always emphasize the people in the spirit world. They're not energy, they're not power, they are people. They're our loved ones that have just stepped aside. And both Karen and I have both experienced that tremendous loss of a partner, and I'm sure some of you have, or of children or people that you've loved. And so if you have experienced that, you know the importance of that communication. And would you want your loved ones in the spirit world communicating through a medium that doesn't really know what they're doing? So the whole essence of this program is not only to develop the range of theory and understanding, and believe you me, there was nobody like Mavis to help you with that, because she'd worked 55 years with the spirit world. And the spirit world were her teachers as much as the teachers on the earth. And she's passed that on to other people like Karen, who's been one of our students over many years. I don't know whether you want to say anything about that, Karen.
Thank you, Jean. Hello, everybody. And it's my honor to be here to endorse, as Jean so aptly explained, our beloved colleague, Mavis Pittilla, and her skill and what she did for mediumship and what she can do for you in this class to develop your mediumship.
Yeah, and of course, Karen, like all the other teachers on this program, not only trained with us for many years, but also trained as teachers through our program. So they trained themselves as mediums over maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years, and then did another 2 or 3 years teacher training. So I think that's more than many educators. And I was an educator all my life, and I did 4 years to begin with to get my first degree, and then I did several other years to get my master's and so on. And I probably shouldn't be talking about this, Natalia, but I am going to go on if I may. I know we're very short of time. So if I could go on, I'd just like to tell you what is different about this program and what is exciting. We've been running it 12 months already. So we're actually at near the end of our first 12 months. And I know in some of the advertising materials, you'll get people giving their own view of how the year's gone. But I'd like to say, from my perspective as the leader of this program, I've absolutely loved it. Not only has it helped me with my grief, because I've been able to share Mavis's legacy with everyone, it's just been a joy to work with a group of people from all over the world at different levels of their understanding and knowledge, and share Mavis's knowledge, skills and understanding. Mavis worked for over 55 years, as I said, as a medium. Few others, if any, in the world have worked for that long. And not only did she just work as a teacher, but she was also the best demonstrator of mediumship. She loved doing her private sittings, and she was the most inspirational speaker you could meet. She's trained many thousands of students over all those years, and many of the well-known mediums around the world Mavis trained, and many of you will know that Suzanne was one of Mavis's students in the first place, and then we became firm friends and have worked together since. And I could name many others, but I'll name Suzanne because she's sharing this program with us. But what's special about this program? Well, as I've said, it's Mavis's knowledge and experience. It's the fact that you not only will get theory every week, and believe you me, there's a whole range of different topics that if you're going to become this whole medium with the real knowledge, and many mediums out there haven't got the knowledge, and you'll certainly discern that if you haven't already discerned that now. If you want to become the whole medium with the range of knowledge, there's no other program that provides it. And it will be Mavis sharing that with you because, you know, very fortunately, and I never intended this to happen, over the last 15 years or so, I've filmed Mavis doing everything. And of course, I've never looked at any of those films because Mavis was always with me. So it's only since Mavis transitioned to the spirit world and I was asked to lead this program that I've actually been able to look at all the films, the range of information that we've got. So that's shared with you. And one of the things that the current group have found is that they've grown to love and know Mavis when perhaps they didn't before. But I can share more of that with you. But the other important thing is that when not only will you get the theory each week, you'll get the practice each week, and you'll be allowed to be in a group, not allowed, you'll be in a group where there's only a small number of students with one teacher, and that teacher will help you progress from whatever stage you're at now to the best that you can be. You won't be put in breakout rooms. We're not going to hide you in breakout rooms sharing with another student and no teacher watching you to help you, because that doesn't get anybody anywhere. The teacher will be there to help you. So you will be cared for, you'll be supported, you'll be loved. And that's unusual. I think in most of the groups where there's a number of people, you put in breakout rooms and left to your own devices. This will be individual support for you. And you will be in these small groups. We've got 12 Mavis Pittilla trained teachers to work on this program, and they've been working on the program now for a year, and they've loved it too. It really is an honor. Mavis always said to bring the healing between the two worlds, this world and the world of the spirit, is so important, because once people have died, they grieve for us as much as we grieve for them, and we shouldn't forget that. And yet the number of mediums in comparison with the number of people on the earth are so few. And that's why good mediums need to be trained properly. The other thing, I've just got some notes in front of me. I do hope you'll forgive me for looking down at them. But, you know, I didn't know about the Shift Network. I was probably one of the few that didn't. It's probably more an American thing than a UK thing. And then through Suzanne, talking to the Shift Network, she knew that we'd already had a graduation for all our teachers, and she knew that I was carrying Mavis's legacy on. So Shift invited me to run this program, and believe you me, they've blown me out of the water, because there's no other program that provides the video recording of every session. They provide the audio recording of every session. They provide the transcripts. And then you're given additional resources as well, you know, such as if there's any recordings of meditations, contemplations, power builds, guided journeys, you get all those as well. And you get slides to accompany everything. And at the end of the year, you get all this on a hard drive. So you've got actually a library forever. Because one of the things I do know is that, you know, you'll listen to us talking about a variety of things. And I've got the list of areas that we're covering, but this is all on your program, and Natalia will talk about this in a moment. But you know, it's broken down into 3 semesters, and the first semester is about understanding the whole medium. So that's not just the mechanics of medium, that's knowing about the spirit world and what happens when we die. It's understanding this power that we have within us that's attached to everything on the earth. And we all know now, with global warming and everything else that's going on, that we're all connected. None of us are on our own, and we're connected to those people in the spirit world in just the same way. You'll get the opportunity, as we were showing there, of working intuitively and psychically with other people on the earth, reading the souls. I don't know whether you want to jump in, Karen, and say a little bit more about the psychic work and its importance.
Yes, thank you, Jean. So again, sometimes mediums don't understand that difference, and sometimes they think working psychically can mean working mediumistically. So in this program, you will understand specifically what it means to work psychically or mind to mind, and then with the spirits in the spirit world, and working and communicating with them mediumistically, which is a big differential, and you don't get that in many programs, but you'll get it here.
Absolutely. And you know, Karen said you have to be a good psychic in order to be a good medium, because if you can read people here well, we know that you'll communicate with the people in the spirit world better, because you'll trust yourself. And again, a lot of it's about trust and understanding of yourself. We'll also go on to look at the morals and ethics of communication, because there's a number of mediums out there that share information that should never been shared. And both Suzanne and Mavis experienced having to help people that were disturbed because mediums had told them about divorces, or they told them about deaths or illness, and frightened people. And no good ethical medium would ever do that. So I know both Suzanne and Mavis had to try and help repair that. But once it's in the mind, it's hard to get out. That's why we believed that mediums should be trained just as much as any psychologist, psychiatrist, psychotherapist, anybody that works with the mind, because it's a dangerous game if you're not fully trained. So very important. So you'll understand about yourself, you'll understand about the range of faculties or clairs that we talked about, and how to develop them working together. In fact, you'll learn about everything. It really is almost a university level program. If you were starting as an undergraduate, just having moved from, I don't know your system over there, but I know in England you move at the age of 18 to a university course, and the first year is kind of the basic understanding, but you take that basic understanding to the level that you can take it depending upon your interest, experience and knowledge, and we build upon where you are. I just can't tell you, well, you can probably tell I'm really enthusiastic about this, but I'm not selling this in any way to kind of prove to people that you should do it. There's only you that knows whether you want to do it, and there's only you that will know whether your soul is calling you, because it is all about your soul. And if your soul's not calling you, it's not for me to persuade you. But if you've kind of come on here today, there's something that's interesting you. And believe you me, it's the most magical experience when you link with the spirit world properly. Mavis used to always say it was like being a bottle of champagne, being sandwiched between the love from the people in the spirit world and the love of the recipients here. And we hope to help you experience that. And Natalia, I think I've probably said enough, so I'll hand back to you. We want to pick up some questions as well.
Of course. Thank you so much, Jean and Karen. Really appreciate what you shared. And you both know that I've been in a unique position here over the past year with both of you, just being able to be such a sacred witness to the growth of your students and just how happy and how they're really stepping in as these evidential mediums. So it really excites me that we get to welcome another wonderful group of students for this next year. And I just feel like I'm the logistics queen over here. So I just want to share some of the just fine details and things about the program. First of all, I want to let everyone know that you can find all of the details on the website evidence-based-mediumship.com. This is a great place to go where you can read through and just find out everything that we have to offer in this program. So I encourage you, if you're feeling the call, spend some time with that page and really get into the details. You can scroll down. There's a spot on the page that says about the Evidential Mediumship Academy Essentials training and just kind of dive through the bullets of what we have to offer. But a couple of things that I just want to call out quickly. I know you've heard a bit of it from Jean and Karen, but some of the parts that really speak to me that I wanted to share is just really remembering that this program includes weekly small focused groups led by world-renowned mediums where you can get personalized feedback. I think that's really special. And you also get to foster deep connection with your peers, which will really enhance your learning and your practice. And of course, you also get monthly master classes, as we mentioned, with Suzanne Giesman. She comes, she tells her stories about working in the field now, super present and current stories, advice, inspiration, answers your questions. So it's really, we've had a wonderful time learning from Suzanne as well. And as Jean mentioned, we have these 3-month learning cycles with month-long practicums, and it gives you really hands-on experience during these practicums to apply what you've learned, which is really fantastic. And then some of the skills I just wanted to call out that you'll be taking home with you are Mavis Pittilla's holistic approach to mediumship, developing yourself as a whole medium. And something that I always really, really love is learning that or experiencing that comfort and learning confirmation about the afterlife. What happens seconds after we depart the world, and we remain with the same people we were with when we left it. Really, really touching material in this program. And of course, the skills on how to facilitate effective audience readings and just so many practices to allow clear, unobstructed communication with the spirit world. I want to remind everyone too that because this is a really rigorous program and an intimate program, we do limit the number of students to ensure that you're getting personal attention, that you're getting that personalized feedback. So I like to remind people if you do decide you want to join us, we encourage you to let us know now. You'll see on the page that you'll first undergo an application process. We love to hear about you and your journey so far. And we just invite you to apply if you're feeling that call. All right, Jean, I think we did a pretty good overview of the program and kind of the journey. I think we did a good job. If there's anything else you want to share, feel free, and then we can dive into some questions.
I think we'll dive into questions. I think that's the most important thing for people, isn't it? So yeah, any questions you've got, we're here to answer. Okay. As Mavis always said, if I can answer them, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you I don't know.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to start. We got a question just asking, I have very little experience with mediumship. Would it still be okay to join the academy?
Yeah, again, I said, if your soul is calling you and you're interested in it, then absolutely. There's a number of people that have already expressed their interest, because I've been going through the applications with the program manager, Christine, and there's quite a number that have said they're absolutely new to mediumship. And I'm sure Karen will confirm that we've already this year had a number that started off new, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the growth of these students is remarkable. As we're nearing the end of our first year with this program, the remarkable growth in their confidence is tremendous. And that is what it's about. It's about you and your confidence and trust in you. It's not the spirit world. They're already trusting you. It's our own trust within ourselves. So that growth is tremendous.
Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes. And you learn a lot about you. It's amazing. One of the things that Mavis and I always have loved, it's the self-growth of people, as well as their understanding of communication between the two worlds. But you kind of grow yourself as well.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Let's see, we had a question from Trisha. This sounds similar to Mavis Pittilla's essential pathways, stepping stones. What are the differences you can share between this and
well, I'm very impressed that somebody knows our program. Yeah, Mavis and I have run a program along with a number of other teachers over several years. Obviously, we used to always have Mavis live with us, which was, you know, a very different. But since Mavis has died, the program's continued. You know, and I'm certainly not going to knock out my own programs, if you like, because obviously I created it along with Mavis, but it's more, that's more practice rather than theory. So, and again, as I said, I didn't discover all these videos of Mavis's that I've got and the range of information she's provided until I was invited to do this by the shift. Well, discover is the wrong word. Utilised. I never utilised them because I always had Mavis with me. But what I found is absolutely a treasure trove of fantastic teachings by Mavis. So our essential pathways, it goes on for maybe 5, even 6 years. So it's a longer journey. This is a more intensive journey with a lot of theory provided within this first year. And our program is a more leisurely approach. So it depends upon how you want to take it. So this journey is, it's got everything. And of course, we don't have the backup of shift, so we don't provide transcripts. We have a Facebook page, that's all. So we're the poor relations in those other Mavis Pittilla courses.
Nice, great. All right, I got a bunch of great questions. Jessica's asking, excuse me, do you teach how to turn off and turn on the communication so that one is not overwhelmed with incoming information when you're not reading?
I'm sure Karen can answer that one, can't you, Big Star?
Yes. So this program is all, you learn how to build your power and blend your power. So when it's that time to work with the spirit world, that will be your time to step into your power. And when that time is finished, you'll learn how to shut it down and then pivot back to normal life as it is. So yes, there are differences, and you'll learn those as you go in this course. And may I just really quickly, I just wanted to add one difference to the previous question. One thing that also separates the pathways from this program is Suzanne Giesman. Her perspective of, if anyone knows Suzanne, knows that she's thorough and she likes the best. And that's what drew her to Mavis and Jean. And that wanting to know more about mediumship and understanding it is what led Suzanne to fall in love with Mavis and her teachings, and what will help you as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good. And you just going back to Karen's question then, Mavis used to say, in order, you have to close down because you've got to live in this real world. So understanding you is part and parcel of the program. And Mavis used to say, that in order to safeguard you and your family, because what happens when you develop your mediumship, you can become oversensitive. And so you want your family to fit in around you because you're this sensitive person, and they can't because life has to go on. So it is very important that you learn, as Karen said, how to close down. Yeah, we'll be covering all of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Jonathan was asking, is it necessary to learn psychic skills to become an evidential medium? This doesn't make sense to me as someone who's experienced being a channel. Psychic skills seem to be a distraction.
Well, it depends. Channeling is a strange word for me, because channeling for us is working in trance. If you mean it, you've been able to communicate already with the spirit world. It is very, very important that you do. I can see Jonathan actually on the screen. You're the gentleman in blue. Right. It's so important that you understand the subtle difference between the communication in the spirit world and your own psyche, because as soon as you start to read someone, you naturally, your soul communicates with their soul, because it's all about soul to soul communication. So you could be picking up from the recipient some information that then could be attributed to the spirit world. Now, if you're experienced, you'll know the difference. But you've got to know very clearly the difference between what you pick up directly from the spirit world and what you pick up yourself from the communication, either with a person in a private sitting or in a gallery demonstration. And Mavis was very keen on people knowing very clearly the difference between what is incarnate communication with the living, and discarnate communication. And she used to value the psychic communication just as much as the spiritual communication, because the psyche might be needed for other reasons. You know, bereavement isn't just about the loss of a loved one. It can be the loss of a job. It can be the loss of the home. It can be the loss of a relationship. And that's, you don't need the spirit world to help people with that. You can communicate psychically. So it's understanding the two. If you've already got an appreciation of that, Jonathan, then it will, we'll soon find out really how much you know, and we wouldn't labor it with people. But with people that don't know it and have never experienced, it's key to understanding you. All right. I hope that helps.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Patty was asking, what if we didn't do well with the 2 exercises today? Any words of wisdom?
I would say it will be a miracle if you did do very well with it, because we rushed through them rather quickly. No, don't worry. And again, it's not, I've been a school teacher all my life. We're not marking you out of 10. There's no right or wrong. It's about your journey on this program. And, that's why you've got a teacher. That's why your teacher will be with you in a small group, because your teacher will help you. And that's what a good teacher should do. Your teacher won't kind of be critical because you get it wrong. Your teacher is there to help you develop it and get it right. So it's all about support, not about criticism. So don't criticize yourself. If you did do well in that, I've got to say you must be miracle workers, because you didn't have the time to do it properly. But it gave you a taste, that's all.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Jill's question, can you explain more about the time commitment and more details of what the practicums entail?
Right. The time commitment is 1 class per week for 90 minutes. Where you get the theory of all the topics that we're discussing, and 1 circle per week of 90 minutes where you'll actually practice your psychic development and your mediumistic development. And obviously mediumistic development is the main one, because we want the communication between the 2 worlds to be as strong as it could be. So that's really the commitment. The practicums are, if you like, what we would call the kind of semester breaks in April and in August. And you, in the first one in April, and you'll have practiced this, you will be doing some readings for other people within the group. And in the August one, you will be, we'll look at a range of readings, from psychic readings to mediumistic readings, but and that will be in your own time within the course of that month. And literally, probably, if I was to measure it in days, 3 or 4 days would cover that within the April and August practicum sessions. Everything's recorded. Sorry, I was just jumping in to tell you that everything's recorded. So the classes are recorded. So we prefer you on it live, because then you can ask questions like this at the end of them. But if you can't be on them live, it's recorded and it will be on your program homepage, which the shift always service very, very well. So you'd be able to watch the classes in your own time. The circles, you'd need to be there, obviously, clearly with your teacher every week if you can. So that 90 minutes is essential every week.
Great. Thank you, Jean. And will there be continuing and more advanced levels on offer after students complete this first year training on shift? What will be?
I like that. I like that question. That's a good one on this. Yeah, well, yes, there is. Now, when I started this last year, I was only asked to do the first year of the evidential mediumship program. And then so many of our students wanted to stay on, Karen can talk about this, that they've asked for a second year. Do you want to say anything, Karen, about that?
Yes, exactly. So the evolution of having a level 2 and beyond is a dream. But I personally have been involved in developing mentorships with Mavis and Jean and have seen locally students' reaction to wanting more because as Jean said, this is like a taster. And so in level 2, you get to learn more, delve in more, and experience more. So yes, there'll be more levels to go as you go.
And as you desire, because you may not want to go further. Some people do and some don't. So, again, that's your journey. So, yeah, but they're there. And I'm really, really thrilled that I've been asked to do another year as well.
Awesome. Okay, another great one. I am interested 100% in communication with the spirit realm. Will the year long be focused mostly on psychic skills?
No, it will be about communication with the spirit world. Absolutely. This is what it's about. It's evidential mediumship. We like to call it communication, conversation with those real people in the spirit world, conversation with my Mavis and with Karen's lovely Andy in the spirit world. We want to have those, we want good mediums to be able to have those conversations with our loved ones. So
that's great. Thanks so much for clarifying, Jean. All right, let's see. I am interested in feeling called to learn and communicate with the spirit world, but I'm also having some doubts that I'll be able to learn. I don't want to have these doubts, but I'm having them. Does that mean I'm not ready?
Oh, that means you're human, darling. That's the human condition. We all doubt ourselves. Mavis talks about the soul mind and the conscious mind, and the lion, which is the conscious mind that's fighting and arguing, lying down with the lamb, which is the soul mind. And we teach you how to try and get that lion calm and lying down with the lamb. Some of you will know that expression from the Bible, and it was so key to Mavis that, in fact, one of our close friends, some of you may know, a Reverend Janet Havoc from the Journey Within Church in New Jersey, sent us a beautiful bronze statue of the lion and the lamb because she knew it was so important to Mavis. And controlling our thoughts, controlling our doubts, controlling our anxieties are the hardest things to conquer, aren't they? And especially in mediumship. But Karen, I don't know whether you want to say. Karen, I've got to tell you, when we first met, was not totally convinced that she was this fantastic medium that she is. So she's been on the journey. So I don't know whether you want to say anything about that.
I was going to say, if any of you have doubts or reservations, then you've come to the right place, because that is what mediumship is all about. And that's the beauty of the smaller classes after you work with your teachers, because you can discuss that in a safe place to talk about your fears or readings that you felt weren't great. We all tend to doubt ourselves. And as Jean said, Mavis called it that lion that tells us you're not this, you can't do this. So it's quite natural to have those reservations and fears, and we'll work with it together, because Lord only, I still have them. So I'm still working through them. So come on this journey with us and we'll work through them together.
And yet I've got to tell you what a fantastic medium Karen is. But another expression of Mavis's was, I can't, but my soul can.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, we got a message in the chat that your explanation really helped a lot. Thank you so much for that feedback. Awesome. Well, Jean, we have gotten through some great questions. We got some great information from both you and Karen today. I have a couple more logistics as usual. I want to remind everybody you can find all of the details you need at evidence-based-mediumship.com, but it's really important for me to also let you know we have this whole year-long program. We have the weekly classes. We have the support and mentorship each week, and we wanted to let you know that the investment is one payment of $5,000 for the program, or of course, we always have flexible payment plan options that you can check out on the page. And right now, if you register for this program by Thursday, October 31st, you'll save $500 as an incentive for signing up after you check out this workshop. I want to remind everyone that this training begins on Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, and we run all the way through December 2nd, 2025. Those are the important things I think I hadn't shared yet. So I wanted to make sure we did. And Jean and Karen, I just want to thank you so much for the wisdom and the support and all of the wonderful, inspiring things you have shared about the program coming up, and pass it back to you just for anything you want to invite in closing.
Well, no, just to say thank you, Natalia, for hosting us. Thank you to the Shift Network for inviting me particularly to share Mavis's legacy. Thank you to Karen and all the other 11 teachers that have spent years with Mavis and I, and are now also committed to sharing Mavis's legacy. And it's a great thrill. And I know from communication with Mavis in the spirit world just how joyous she is, that not only is her work carrying on, but all those people that have she's known and trained and loved, actually, because you get to know and love people as well on this journey, are carrying on with her work. So lovely to see all of you. I do hope that we'll see more of you, because what happens is not only is a community created when we start these programs, but a friendship is created. And so I look forward to seeing you over the course of next year and gaining a friendship. So lots and lots of love, and thank you, Karen.
Thank you both so much. Yeah, and I want to thank everyone out there for taking the time to be with us today. Really appreciate it. And we hope you got your questions answered. If not, you can always reach out to us through Shift Support. We'd love to answer your questions and just help you make your highest decision. We'd love to see you in the program. So just one last reminder, you can find all of the details in the application at evidence-based-mediumship.com. Thank you again, Jean. Thank you again, Karen. And I always like to say thank you, Mavis, for bringing this most powerful, beautiful body of work to us here at Shift.
Beautiful. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. I wish everybody a beautiful, beautiful day.